Hello everyone, and welcome to another video counting down the top 5 Pokemon that could be amazing Zelda boss battles. The original idea for this video came while discussing the lack of unique Zelda dungeon bosses in Breath of the Wild. With Fire Blight, Water Blight, Wind Blight, and Thunder Blight Ganons, it was basically like Nintendo just treated Calamity Ganon like an Eevee, except worse. So we thought it would be fun to choose our own Pokemon that we would love to see as boss battles. We even have suggestions that some of you gave us on Twitter or in our Discord server. Some of these are already so similar to Zelda bosses that already exist that they could easily be swapped out, while others are a bit more unique and unlike any Zelda boss we currently have. So we hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please click the like button and comment below to let us know which Pokemon you would like to see as a Zelda boss and which dungeon it would fit in. If we use your suggestion in our next video, we'll be sure to give you a shout out during that video. So please subscribe and click the bell icon to stay notified so you don't miss out when a third part of this video, counting down 5 or even 10 more Pokemon, is uploaded. If you missed our first video, please give it a watch as well. A link to that video can be found in the description. Blacephalon or Xurkitree as Skull Kid or a Majora's Wrath type boss. I have no idea how to pronounce those names. Skull Kid and Majora are at the top of a lot of fan favorite boss lists. Even though Skull Kid doesn't really appear as a boss, only an enemy in games like Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess. He does have a great appearance in Hyrule Warriors though, and fans are always asking for him to be a playable character in Super Smash Bros. When I think of the mysteriousness and creepiness behind Majora and the Skull Kid, I think of the Ultra Beasts, Blacephalon and Xurkitree. They could be separate bosses or could be different phases of the same fight. Blacephalon is 5'11", almost 2 meters tall. That's still tall, but closer to the height of Skull Kid or the first form of Majora's Mask. His typing is Fire Ghost. Its appearance and movements are unnerving, out of this world, unsettling, and also remind me of the Trickster Imp. It's known as the Fireworks Pokemon, which almost makes me think of Skull Kid thanks to the countdown to the moon falling, the world ending and the festival starting, all with the fireworks going off in the background, which can be seen as its main design pattern. It also has inspirations from a clown. Some even think it or Pennywise the Clown, which also goes along with the Skull Kid being a devious, evil trickster and laughing at the torture of others. Its Pokédex states it slithers towards you, then, without warning, it triggers the explosion of its head, then takes advantage of opponents' surprise to rob them of their energy and vitality. Xurkitree is 12'6", or almost 4 meters tall, around the same height as Majora's Wrath. It also has the same odd and rope-like limbs. Its Pokédex entry reads, one of the mysterious life forms known as Ultra Beasts. Astonishing electric shocks emanate from its entire body according to witnesses. Volcarona as Mothula. This is a quick one. Volcarona is a bug fire type Pokemon introduced in Generation 5's Black and White. Mothula appears in A Link to the Past or Triforce of the Gods, Oracle of Seasons, Wind Waker, and Spirit Tracks. Just like the Volcarona evolves from Larvesta, Mothula in Wind Waker is thought to evolve from these small Morths and wingless Mothulas that can be found throughout the Forbidden Woods. Rayquaza replacing Volvigia. For those who aren't caught up on Pokemon and the absolute beast that Rayquaza is, he is the dragon flying type legendary from Gen 3, the mascot featured on Pokemon Emerald. It is a part of the Weather Trio alongside Kyogre and the previously mentioned Groudon, and serves as the group's trio master. In the anime and especially the games, it is considered one of, if not, the most powerful Pokemon to ever be created, and will most likely remain that way forever. How powerful is it? Even though its Mega Evolution, normal Rayquaza, is tied with the highest stats of any non-Mega Evolution or non-special Pokemon of 680, this is already a lot more powerful than a lot of Mega Evolutions are. The only non-Mega Evolution above it is Arceus, who is literally the god Pokemon and is responsible for creating the Pokemon universe. Its Mega Evolution, Mega Rayquaza, is literally the most powerful Pokemon, tied with Mewtwo X and Y at 780. Sort of putting numbers aside for a moment, it gets a lot more insane. To Mega Evolve any Pokemon, it needs to hold a Mega Stone. Charizard, another extremely powerful Pokemon, is required to be holding an X or Y Stone. In some cases, like Primal Groudon and Primal Kyogre, they need to hold a red orb or blue orb, respectively. Remember when I said it was tied with Mewtwo X and Mewtwo Y? Even Mewtwo is required to be holding a Mega Stone to evolve. Rayquaza is the only Pokemon that does not need to hold an item in order to Mega Evolve, which means not only is it tied with Mewtwo X and Mewtwo Y as the most powerful Pokemon, but technically, it is the most powerful because its item slot is free for the trainer to place something that could help it during battle. Something like the Life Orb will boost its attack to 235, Choice Bands would boost it to 270, a Sword Dance would increase it to an incredible 360. The Pokemon Company knew how powerful it would be, and made it so that it was the only Pokemon that could not both use a Z move or Mega Evolve during battle. The company itself semi-banned it in 2019 during its tournaments and World Championship, meaning it is one of 4 Pokemon that cannot be used in a party together, the others being Mewtwo, Ho-Oh, and Groudon. If you have a Mewtwo, you cannot use Rayquaza, Ho-Oh, or Groudon. If you have a Ho-Oh, you cannot have a Mewtwo, Rayquaza, or Groudon. As if this wasn't enough, they outright banned its Mega Evolution and the use of one of its moves completely, that being Dragon Ascent. So after all of this, I ask you to imagine how epic this dragon could be. Similar to your typical main boss battle, that has a few different phases or completely transforms, like Ganondorf to Ganon, the many forms of Vaddie, or the different phases of Stalord. It would also transform from Rayquaza to an even more powerful Mega Rayquaza during battle. Mewtwo as Phantom Ganon and Ganondorf. Phantom Ganon appears in Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, and Four Swords Adventures, although its game of Dead Man's Volley has been used in many other boss fights, including Aghanim in A Link to the Past, Yuga Ganon in A Link Between Worlds, Ghirahim and Biolocite in Skyward Sword, Ganondorf in Ocarina of Time, Puppet Zelda in Twilight Princess, and several others, including non-canon games, such as Battle Quest and Hyrule Warriors. Only focusing on Phantom Ganon though, he was created by an evil, powerful man. During his fights, he will mostly float high above and has the use of powerful magic. They are both capable of melee attacks, but mostly resort to powerful magic. Phantom Ganon and even Ganondorf's Energy Ball attacks are similar to Mewtwo's popular attacks like Shadow Ball and Psystrike. Ganondorf possesses the Triforce of Power, where Mewtwo is known as the most powerful Pokemon. Ganondorf can transform into Ganon. Mewtwo can transform or evolve into Mewtwo X and Mewtwo Y. Ganondorf can possess people or make them stronger, example being Puppet Zelda. He can create life and even bring things back to life, an example being Volcarona. Even Zant, who he granted power to, became so powerful that he himself was able to transform people, bring things back to life, and allow them to also become even more powerful. Mewtwo has famously created life, that being clones of other Pokemon, and controlled them to battle others. Some even seem like they are even more powerful than the originals, which would go along with Ganondorf granting people like Zant power. Imagine that depending on what you have done during the events of the game would determine which form Mewtwo evolves into, and then having other parts of the game focus on this as well. An example, you find out Ganondorf, or in this case Mewtwo, is going to try to steal something from the Gorons and something from the Zora. You have to decide which to save first, similar to deciding which divine beast to beat first in Breath of the Wild. If you save the Gorons first and collect the X Stone, Ganondorf or Mewtwo will visit the Zoras first and steal the Y Stone. If you go to the Zoras first, he goes to the Gorons. So when you finally face off against him and think you can beat him, he uses the stone and evolves into a new form based on the one you couldn't save. If this mechanic was implemented in other areas, it could make replaying through the game an entirely different experience with completely different bosses and dungeons. Haunter and Mega Gengar as Bongo Bongo or Wall Masters. Nintendo absolutely loves giving us different versions of bosses, mini-bosses, or enemies that are either just a hand or a face, hands with a face, or floating hands. Mazal from Minish Cap, Godin from Wind Waker, Zant's Hands from Twilight Princess, and others exist including Wall Masters and Floor Masters. Even Mario had one featured, however the most famous of all is Bongo Bongo, the boss of the Shadow Temple from Ocarina of Time. A lot of theories exist on who or what it really is and its origins, which you can find a video of us talking about in the description below. It is so popular and has so many theories because the rest seem like man-made creations, like a magic robot. Bongo Bongo is something different. Instead of being hands and a head that is missing a body, it is missing its head. It appears to be a ghost or tortured soul of a person who was decapitated using a guillotine. We see its dark purple spirit escape from the bottom of the well and into the Shadow Temple, which was created to be used by a magical group of people known as the Sheikah and the royal family. Both of these are locations in the game which heavily feature various different methods of torture, including many guillotines that are literally everywhere. Poison pools of water can also be found inside. Oh, and it also happens to be located in the back of a graveyard. Haunter and Gengar, known as the Shadow Pokemon, literally created as the shadow of Clefable, which, fun fact, was the original mascot and primary or main Pokemon before Pikachu was chosen. They are Generation 1 Pokemon first featured in Pokemon Red and Green. Being known as the Shadow Pokemon would fit perfectly with the Shadow Temple. Haunter, and to an extent Mega Gengar, appear to have been once executed by guillotines. The pools of poison would explain the ghost poison typing of the Pokemon as well. They appear purple, but can disappear at will like Bongo Bongo, who requires the lens of truth to be seen. Finally, to make this even more of a perfect fit, here are the official Pokédex entries. Haunter apparently wishes for a traveling companion. Since it was once human itself, it tries to create one by taking the lives of other humans. Even your home isn't safe. Gengar will lurk in whatever dark corner of a room it can find, and wait for its chance to catch its prey. Gengar apparently wishes for a traveling companion. In total darkness, where nothing is visible, Haunter lurks silently, stalking its next victim. It strikes at humans from total darkness. Those licked by its cold tongue grow weaker with each passing day until they die.
Hey everyone, it's me again, 𝐅𝐼𝐬𝐢𝐺𝐬. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. And you know what? If you're a fan of videos like this, you should totally subscribe and give this video a like and comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the �GameOverJessie channel, please consider purchasing a �GameOverJessie t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/�GameOverJessie, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/�GameOverJessie, and much more.